Mastering the taskbar, Windows tips. The taskbar first appeared in Microsoft Windows with the release of Windows 95 on August 24th, 1995. The concept of a taskbar was not directly copied from another operating system, but it was inspired by various features from earlier systems. For instance, the Amiga operating system released in 1985 had a feature called the Workbench that displayed running applications and allowed users to switch between them. Similarly, the Acorn Archimedes computer running the RISC OS had a similar feature called Icon Bar. The Windows 95 taskbar combined these ideas and introduced a more unified and accessible interface featuring the Start menu, Quick Lunch bar, a notification area, which significantly influenced user interface design used today in Windows 10 and 11. The taskbar and the menu have different purposes. The Start menu is the central hub for accessing your application's settings and files. The taskbar provides quick access to running applications, system notifications, and other tools. In both Windows 10 and 11, the taskbar is divided into several distinct sections, each serving a specific function. In Windows 10, the Start button is located at the far left. This button opens the Start menu, which provides access to installed applications, settings, and power options. The search box is next to the Start button. This section allows users to search their PCs or web activity. The Task View button opens Task View, which shows all open windows and allows users to switch between virtual desktops. The Pin and Running Apps area in the middle of the taskbar shows icons for applications that are currently running or pinned for quick access. The notification area, or system tray, is located at the far right. This section includes the clock, network status, volume control, and other system notifications. The Show Desktop button is a small, barely visible button at the far right edge of the taskbar. Clicking this minimizes all open windows and shows the desktop. In Windows 11, the sections are similar. The Start button, typically centered, though it can be aligned to the left, opening the redesigned Start menu with a grid of pinned apps and a recommended section. The Search button next to the Start button opens a search interface to find apps, files, and web results. The Task View button, similar to Windows 10, opens the task view for managing open windows and virtual desktops. Pin and Running Apps is centrally located. This section displays icons for currently running application and those pinned for quick access. The notification area is found on the far right. It includes the clock, battery status, network status, volume control, and other system notifications. And unlike Windows 10, the Show Desktop button is a small button at the far right edge, minimizing all open windows to show the desktop. The taskbar in Windows 10 and 11 is a versatile tool that can enhance productivity and improve your workflow. While the overall layout and design have evolved, the core sections of the taskbar remains consistent between Windows 10 and Windows 11. Here are some tips and usages to make the most out of it. In Windows 10 and 11, if you right-click on any running app and select Pin to Taskbar, you can keep your favorite apps always within reach. The Task View and Virtual Desktop button on your taskbar is located right next to the search box. If you don't see it, you can right-click the taskbar and select Show Task View button. Click the Task View button or press Win plus Tab to see all open windows and create or manage virtual desktops for better organization. The taskbar also has Copilot integration. Use Copilot to quickly search the web, your PC, and launch apps. To access Copilot, simply press Windows plus C, and starting with Windows 10, building 19045.3758, Microsoft adds the Copilot in Windows in preview to the right side of the taskbar. You can customize your icons that appear in the System tray, right corner of the taskbar, by going to Settings, Personalization, Taskbar, and then select which icons you want to appear on the taskbar. You can also move the taskbar to the right, left, or top of the screen by dragging or changing the locations in Settings, Personalization, Taskbar, and Taskbar locations on the screen in Windows 10. In Windows 10 and 11, you can enable Auto Hide to maximize screen space by going to Settings, Personalization, Taskbar, and toggling Automatically Hide the taskbar in the desktop mode. In Windows 11, you can center your taskbar icons. uh, I'm sorry, in Windows 11, the taskbar icons are centered by default for a more modern look, but you can adjust this to the left if preferred in Settings, Personalization, Taskbar, and Taskbar Behaviors. With the redesigned Start menu in Windows 11, accessing the uh, the Start menu now shows pinned apps and a recommended section for quick access to recent files. In Windows 10 and 11, you can also utilize taskbar widgets to quickly access personalized news, weather, calendar, and other widgets directly from your taskbar. In Windows 10 and 11, you can also access quick settings such as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and volume by clicking on the network, volume, or battery icon. In Windows 10, you will see a little icon to the very left that looks like for notifications, and that will access the quick settings. In Windows 11, you have to click on the hidden button that actually shows the Wi-Fi symbol and the speaker, and then that will pop up your quick settings. If you want to customize your taskbar, you can do so by going to Settings, Personalization, Taskbar. Here you can add or remove icons, adjust alignment, and more. If you want to unmute from the taskbar, you can do so by selecting in the quick settings the icon that shows the loudness. And if you have, just click on the little speaker icon, and then that will mute your volume. General tips for both versions. In keyboard shortcuts, you can use Windows plus number to launch the app pin in the corresponding position on your taskbar. For example, Windows plus 1 for the first application that shows on your taskbar. In taskbar settings, you also can access more settings by right-clicking on the taskbar and selecting taskbar settings. You can also show your desktop. Quickly minimize all open windows to show the desktop by clicking the small vertical strip at the far right end of the taskbar or by pressing Windows plus D. In conclusion, by using these tips and features, you can customize your taskbar to better suit your workflow and improve your efficiency on both Windows 10 and Windows 11. Explore, play, and enjoy. I'm Bill James, Tech for Seniors, and this is our Windows Tips, Mastering the Taskbar.
I was just answering some comments on a YouTube video I published last week. This was one of our Monday shows, which is about an hour show, and the viewer commented that she liked the program, but it was too long and she couldn't find the information she wanted. She was wishing that we had indexed the show so she could specifically find the area she wanted. I'm Ron Brown with Tech for Senior, where we help seniors understand technology and help them navigate the internet, specifically find more information quicker on YouTube. In this video, I'm going to talk about indexing your videos from the creator's point of view and from the viewer's point of view. So all YouTube videos are actually indexed. As creators, we can put indexes in. Now this is, as you probably understand, are called timestamps, time chapters, and these are added by creators into the description of the video to help you find specific points in that video. But what you may or may not know is that if they don't put it in, it's still there and Google does it for you. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, today, who should watch this video? Well, I'm going to have some points for creators and I'm going to have some points for viewers. So let's have a look. But before we get started, I just want to ask you for that like and subscribe. At Tech for Senior, we work very hard making these videos and would sure appreciate that like, but more important, that subscribe. All right, let's get on with the program. All right, this is the video in question. And if you look at the top, you'll see it's episode 216, Tech for Seniors, May 27, 2024. Now, the important thing, the first thing you should do before you play a video is look in the description. Because if you follow down in the description at the bottom, it says index and links. And you'll see, of course, on the right-hand side, it has all the points in our video, all the sections within the video that I've put in. It has, of course, the security news update and all the presentations. So if you want to watch any of these and go specific to the location, you just click on the left side here. These are the little blue numbers are the timestamps that I've put in. So clicking on any of these blue timestamps will take you right to the section of the video. But before you even go there, let's come up here and I'm just going to play this a little bit for you.
Twitter.com, Microsoft being investigated.
Now, if you see this red line across here, you'll see this as your video plays. If you see my cursor coming along, you'll see it sectioned, and you'll see there's different sections here. And these are the timestamps that I've put in for each section. These correspond to the numbers below here. So you can as you just simply move your cursor along, you can see the different spots. So if we want to come down here and you're looking for the Microsoft segment, we could start it right here, and if I click this, it will take you right to that segment and you can tell what it is. So just by moving your cursor along this line, you can actually see where the segments are and go and play that. Here's Ray's music. Now, but you could also get there by coming down to the bottom by clicking on the link in the description. So the tip for the viewer is you can actually find your indexing by two different methods. The first is running your cursor along the timeline and seeing the segment you want to go to, or you can look down in the description and click the link there, and it will take you to the point that you want to go to in the video. And you'll find that all 218 of our videos over the past 5 years have all had this feature in them. Now, if you are a creator and are wondering how to add these, let me give you a simple tip. There are many different ways in which you can add timestamps to your videos. The first way is through the software you use to create the video. And I use a software program called Camtasia. Now in this segment, you'll see that I'm adding markers into the video. And this is as I'm editing the video, I add these markers. And these ultimately will turn into timestamps as I render the video and upload it to YouTube. The software automatically takes those markers and makes them into timestamps so that when your video is published on YouTube, those are automatically inserted. So there's no extra work on your part. So your video editing software might do that for you depending on what one you use. Now I use that feature for a number of years, but I don't do that anymore. I use another type of software called TubeBuddy. This is an extension and it's an add-on software that helps me manage our YouTube channel. And so I actually add the chapters in after the video is published in and is on YouTube. And you'll see in this video, I'm actually adding the chapters in after it has been uploaded and rendered into video. So there are many different ways in which you can add these chapters or timestamps into your videos for quick indexing. So the next question is, do all videos have timestamps and indexing in them? And the answer to that question is no. And you're going to say, well, why not? Let me give you two examples. The first is the video I just showed you, which is our Monday show. This is a 1-hour show, and it's divided up into various segments. These are of specific interest to people, so I can appreciate that they wouldn't want to watch the whole show. They may want to just only watch one segment that they're interested in. So I add indexing to all those videos. But there are times when you don't want to put indexing in your video. Let's give you an example. Suppose I'm going to make a video about smartwatches, and I say these are 5 critical reasons that you need to purchase a smartwatch and use this for. What are those 5 reasons? Well, that's why people are going to watch the video. If you put those 5 reasons in the description, then people aren't going to watch the video. And that's the goal on YouTube, is getting people to watch the video. Another example that I used recently is I've been looking at cars and automobiles, and I wanted to find out what the best EVs are in 2024. So of course I did a search on that, and you will find a lot of videos about that. But none of those videos list those top cars that they pick in the description. In fact, they're very cagey about it, and you need to really watch the video to get the names of those 5 cars. So that's a situation where you would not want to put it in the description. Otherwise, people will just look at the description and not watch the video. This is a creator tip. If you don't want indexing or chapters in your video, before you publish it, in the details section of your YouTube studio, you want to uncheck automatic chapters. If you don't uncheck that, then Google is going to automatically add chapters to your video. And I'm going to show you how this works in the next segment. But make sure you untick that automatic chapters button so it doesn't happen. Now let me talk about searching for a minute in Google. On the screen here, you'll see on the right side, you'll see a search in YouTube. When you're in the YouTube environment, if you do a search for a specific video, you're searching all YouTube for videos on that topic. On the side, you'll see I have a search on Google. This is in your Chrome browser doing a Google search. Well, of course, you all know that Google searches search the internet. They search everything, but they also search YouTube. So if you're looking for something and you think it might be on YouTube, it will also search it. And let me show you why that's so important. All right, let's have a look at this video that you see on the screen. This is a video I produced called Chromebook Buying Guide for 2023. Now let's just look at this. Run your cursor across the timeline here. You'll see that, of course, there are chapters in here. But if you come down and you look in the description, like I'd showed you before, there are no chapters. I did put sections in here, but these are not indexing chapters like we discussed. But if you look at the bottom, you'll see that in fact there are chapters there, because you'll see that there's introduction, setting a budget, choosing Chromebook. And these were all automatically created by Google. All right, let's see what happens when we do a Google search on that video. So we're now on my main computer here, and we're doing a Google search. Let's click in here, and we're going to choose best Chromebooks for 2023 and see what we come up with. All right, so we're going to come up now, and we're going to look down the list here and come down here. And we're going to see at the bottom here, it says View All. And let's see if we can find my video. As we come down here, well, here's my video. Chromebook Buying Guide of 2023. Now, if you look at this carefully, and I want you to pay attention, this is a YouTube video. Remember, we're searching in Google search. So we're searching the internet and we're searching YouTube videos. We're searching both. And now it's come up and we've found this video because we're looking for Chromebooks for 2023. And we found that, but it's a video. So what we have to do now is, if we come down and look at the bottom, I want you to look at 10 key moments in this video. Remember, I didn't put this in. We're going to click this down, and you'll see here, these have all been added by Google. Let's expand this out, and you'll see all the different sections in my video. So if you want to find how big a hard drive you have in a Chromebook, we can just click this, and it takes you right to that section of the video. So I'm so excited about this. What I've just shown you is, if you do a search in Google, it is not only going to search all the knowledge of the internet, but it's going to search the knowledge of the YouTube library. It's going to find the information you want, and it's going to allow you to zoom right in on that video and play the specific item you're looking for, all on that search. And I'm going to show you now how you can even refine that a bit more. So let's come back and go into our search, and we're going to look again at the best Chromebooks. But what I want you to do is, instead of having all the information here from the search, which is non-YouTube stuff, if we come up here and just click videos, then this is going to only list the YouTube videos that you're looking for. And as we come down here, we'll see the item that we're looking for right away, and we can simply click this, and there we are right now, and picking up the video. So yes, all the YouTube videos are all indexed with chapters in them, except if the creator has said, no, I don't want automatic chapters included in my video, for the reasons I discussed. So the reason for making this video was to answer the original question a viewer had posed, and that is, how do you find the information in an hour-long video? So the first step is to always look in the description below the video, because most likely you're going to find the chapters there that will index the video. If the creator hasn't put the chapters there, the chapters likely will be in below the video, and Google has added those, as you will see in a Google search. And the way they can do this is very interesting. You probably understand that there are millions of videos being uploaded to YouTube every day. Do you know that every single one of them is transcribed? Yes, they take the audio and they transcribe all your voice into text. That's pretty amazing. But that allows them to do this incredible searching that they do. Now you can actually look at the transcript in the video, and I'm going to show you how to do that today, and then I'm going to give you a bonus tip, something I use every day. It's free, it's an incredible service, and it will help you summarize the videos. So let me give you this tip. All right, let's come to our video. This is my video, Google introduces Chromebook Plus. We've looked at this before, and if you look over to the right, you're going to see the description, and you'll see the description in the dark here. And if we click show more, it will show more of what I put in the description. And we'll come down to the bottom here, and you'll see, of course, we have our chapters, which I didn't put in. Remember, YouTube put them in. But if you come right down at the bottom, it says transcript. And you'll find if you go to the bottom below the description in all your YouTube videos, you'll see this transcript. Then what you can do is you can click show transcript, and it will come along now, and it lists all the transcript. And if you click the little button to the left here, the blue button, it'll take you right to that section of the video. But let me show you an app called Transcript and Summary. This works with OpenAI and ChatGPT. I'll describe that in a minute, but watch what happens. If we come up to the right side here, you'll see that it says Transcript and Summary. Well, of course, you recognize the OpenAI or ChatGPT symbol here. Let's see what happens when I click the button. Now we head over to ChatGPT. It's already logged me in, and it's taken all the transcript of that whole video, and it's right here. And you could copy and paste it and do whatever you want with it. But what it's going to do, let's keep coming down here. It's going to summarize automatically the whole video into 5 points. So here's the 5 points that it summarized it into. So this app takes the transcript, moves it into ChatGPT, so you have the whole transcript there. You could do whatever you want with it, but it also summarizes it into the 5 key points of the video. Isn't that cool? I use this all the time. So what I just showed you is a free extension for your Chrome browser. I like it so much, I even made a video about it. And I'll put the link up above here, and I'll put it in the description below the video, and you can download it and try it yourself. It is absolutely free, and the only thing that you require is a ChatGPT account, but it's free. You can use the free version for this. And this will automatically allow you to search and copy that transcription over into ChatGPT. It's quite customizable. I'm not going to go through that whole thing. You can just watch the video, but I use it all the time. Now here's a tip. It's a tip for the viewers. It summarizes your video into points so you can quickly find the information you're looking for. Also, for creators, I use this all the time on my own videos. After I complete them, I simply summarize it for a description. Yes, it saves me so much time. I can just summarize my own video, create the 5 points I want, and put those in the description of the video. Works great. It's all free and a big time saver. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Hopefully I've helped some viewers and creators with some tips. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Today I'm going to put on my physician's coat, and we're going to talk about blood pressure. We're going to talk about the importance of blood pressure, how you take your blood pressure, and also the 2 new ways we're using to incorporate blood pressure into smartwatches. Yes, smartwatches can now take your blood pressure. So let's have a look at this. Blood pressure and your watch. Why is this so important? Well, an elevated blood pressure is actually called hypertension. And the thing you should know is that it is common. It is extremely common to have elevated blood pressure, particularly as a senior. The second thing you need to know, this is a silent killer. This is a major contributor to heart and kidney disease. So it is so important that we pay attention to our blood pressure, get treatment for it, and follow it closely. That is why I'm so excited about new technology coming into watches that actually measures your blood pressure. Is this a game changer? Is this going to be better than actually taking it on your wrist or arm? No, not really, but I hope this will bring awareness and enthusiasm to patients so that we can be on top of this very, very common problem. So what is the difference between your pulse and your blood pressure? Well, as you know, your heart beats, let's say 80 beats per minute. Well, we measure one pulse for each beat. So if your heart rate was going at 80 beats per minute, then your pulse would be 80 beats per minute. If you're running or exercising and it goes up to 100, then your pulse is 100. So it's a measurement of how many times your heart beats per minute. Now, any activity tracker, watch, even the cheapest $10 device that you can get will measure your pulse. It is a super easy thing to do and easy to track how many beats per minute your heart is actually beating. Now let's talk about your blood pressure. Your blood pressure is different. As you know, your heart contracts down and then it relaxes. That's called a beat. Let's say your blood pressure is 120/80. Well, 120 is what we call systolic, or that's when your heart contracts down, and that is the maximum pressure in the system. The bottom number is called diastole, and that's when your heart is relaxed. It's the bottom pressure in the system. So we always have a top, which is the top when your heart contracts, and when it relaxes, that's the bottom pressure. So a blood pressure always has two numbers associated with it. As you know, you would need more pressure as we get taller. So think about a snake slithering along on the road. Of course, it doesn't need much pressure to get blood to its brain. But let's take a giraffe who's in the forest and has that very, very long neck. It's going to need a massive heart and a lot of pressure to push that blood all the way up to the brain. So we've adapted over time to sort of figure out exactly how much pressure we need to provide oxygen to our brain. So as you can see, blood pressure is more complicated to measure than a pulse. We have two numbers, we have sort of a pressure number that we have to come up with, and we're going to need some more electronic and gadgetry to try and figure this out. And that's why there are very few watches that actually measure blood pressure. Today in this video, we're going to talk about the different technologies that are coming to allow blood pressure to be measured on a watch. All right, how is blood pressure traditionally taken? Well, you've all had your blood pressure taken, so you know there's a bladder that's placed around your arm. This bladder is then pumped up and relaxed, and we get a blood pressure. This is usually performed by your healthcare provider. In the last 10 years, we have seen automated blood pressure machines come, and these are fairly standard now, and you can get them for around $50 or $60, and they provide excellent blood pressure readings, and you don't have to do anything. You just put the cuff around your arm. Now, we've seen this expand to cuffs on your wrist. In fact, there has been a watch which actually has taken your blood pressure, and it's been available for a number of years, and it actually has a bladder in the wrist strap and actually pumps up and relaxes. So there are many ways that we can take your blood pressure, but they all involve some sort of bladder being around an arterial source, being pumped up and relaxed. The other thing you should know is we can take your blood pressure in different arterial sources. For example, we can take a blood pressure of an upper leg. We can take a blood pressure of your lower leg. We can take the blood pressure of your toe, or we can take the blood pressure of your fingertip. Many different ways in which we can do blood pressure. A fun thing you can do is take the blood pressure between your left arm and your right arm. You'll often find a difference. So there is a standard of which we have defined, and all the medical research has all gone to being an observed blood pressure reading in your left arm sitting, with your arm being at the level of your heart. And that's basically the standard by which we take blood pressure. Now, taking blood pressure in a watch is going to, of course, depart from this standard, and let's look how we're going to do that. So how do we get blood pressure from a watch? You normally go into the doctor's office, he puts that thing around your arm. He then puts a stethoscope on your front of your arm and measures your blood pressure. Well, if we have a watch on our wrist and these little flashing lights behind, how does that measure your blood pressure? Well, there are two different technologies that we use. And I'm going to talk about those today and explain them. The first one is called the pulse arrival time or pulse transit time. So it's PAT or PTT. Both these are exactly the same thing. Now, as you know, when your heart contracts down, it creates a wave. It actually can create a pulse, and this is a wave that goes through the arterial system. And the pulse arrival time is the time it takes the pulse wave to travel between two arterial sites. So we can actually measure the time difference and come up with a blood pressure. So how do we do this? Let me explain. So the first thing that happens is when you get your Galaxy 4 watch, you have to calibrate it. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your own blood pressure cuff, put it on your arm, and take your blood pressure. Let's say it's 120/80. You're then going to enter that into your watch, and that's going to calibrate it because we know what your pulse is at that particular time. And this is going to calibrate the amplitude of your pulse, and we're going to use that as a reference point for that specific blood pressure. Now, once it's calibrated, let's say you go out and you're doing some exercise and your blood pressure goes up. Well, that's going to actually change the time in which that wave transits between those 2 points we discussed. And so it's actually not going to measure your blood pressure, it's going to calculate it by the time difference in that wave. So a bunch of calculations occur, and your blood pressure now is displayed on your watch. That's the technology called PTT or PAT. It's a calculation from your original blood pressure that you put into your watch. And that is why your watch needed to be calibrated. And it also needs to be calibrated about once a month to use this technology. Now you're going to say to me, oh, is this hocus pocus? Is this really work? Yes, it does work because Samsung has taken a lot of medical research and presented it to the FDA. The FDA has then had their body of experts look at this and said, yes, on the Samsung Watch, Galaxy Watch 4 and Galaxy Watch 5, this is valid. We actually can get a valid blood pressure on this watch using this technology. Now you have to be very careful because there are a lot of $25 watches out there that will measure your blood pressure using some sort of technology. I have no idea what it is, but I can tell you that the Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 and 5 has been cleared by the FDA to be valid, and we really want to get accurate readings because your blood pressure is very important. So be careful on what watches you use and only get the certified ones. So what are the advantages of PAT or PTT? Well, it's relatively simple and it works well on watches. What are the disadvantages? Well, you have to calibrate it, and that requires input on the consumer. So it all relies on what that initial blood pressure you put in to calibrate your watch, because we're not actually measuring your blood pressure, we're doing a calculation on a change in what you are measuring and putting into the watch. So for example, if you don't have a blood pressure machine and you've gone and borrowed one and you're using the wrong size cuff and you put a bad value in, then all your subsequent blood pressures will not be valid. Suppose you don't have enough money, you spend it all on the watch, and you guess and you say, well, I'm just going to put 120/80 in, but that's not your real blood pressure. Well, then all the subsequent blood pressures your watch is going to give are all in error. So there's technology certainly has some problems, and it all requires an accurate calibration. And each month you need to calibrate your watch and make sure that the correct values are there. Because remember, we're only measuring the change in the data that you're putting in that's taken by a traditional blood pressure measurement. And that is called pulse transit time or pulse arrival time. All right, the second way of taking your blood pressure is called photoplethysmography. Oh boy, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Photoplethysmography. Bet you can't say that backwards. We're going to call that PPG for short. And it's real simple. This is basically a technology that's been around actually since 1930. It's used widely in medical labs around the world, and it actually is where we look at the flow of blood through the arteries, and we use a photosensor to measure your blood pressure based on a number of parameters as its blood is flowing through the artery. And of course, as you know, the skin on the back of your wrist is very, very thin, and a lot of those sensors that we use are the ones that will be detecting the flow of blood in your wrist. And we can calculate this out and figure out what your blood pressure is. And that is called PPG or photoplethysmography. And this is going to be probably the new way in which we move ahead when we're doing blood pressure with your watch. So in summary, we have two types of technology. We have pulse arrival time or pulse transit time, and we have photoplethysmography. The first group is just measuring the difference from a blood pressure you are entering in. The second type is, of course, measuring your actual blood pressure. We'll see both these types used in future watches as this becomes more common. So it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior.